Moving on to part B, you need to work out the number of ions in 6.4 mole of chloride ions. I think this is a very good opportunity to revise the formulas for these names. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start by summarizing the question. Number of mole chloride ion is Cl minus. You are expected to eventually memorize all of these charge of these ions. I mean, Cl minus is not hard. You can just look at the position on the periodic table and you can kind of guess what it is, but hopefully you don't even have to do that if you can just remember it. Obviously, there's a lot of logic in this subject, but at the same time, there are things that you just remember because you do it a lot of times, and that will save you time in assessments in the long run. Now, the other thing that I like to do, besides summarizing the question, is I tend to write the formula out before I write the actual numbers. Now, I'm usually sometimes even skip the actual number and I just write the formula and then I write the final answer. So the calculation is just in the calculator. But the reason why I tend to encourage students to write out the formula is that it actually gives a better indication of your understanding. If, for example, somebody is reading your work and your final answer is wrong, it's easier for them to see that you do indeed have an understanding of the concept and you just perhaps make some silly random calculation or you use the wrong number. But if you just write the numbers and the numbers are not what they're supposed to be, it's harder for people to make a judgment on your level of understanding. It's also harder for you to check. So one way that I tend to use to check my answer is I just do the calculation based on the formulas again. And hopefully if you do enough practice and you have time, you can do that. So summarize the question and write out the formula. This intermediate step is optional, but I definitely would have the unit on